Welcome to the Human Narratives. Welcome to the Human Narrative, everyone. This is your host, Dorinda. It is a pleasure, a great pleasure to be back with another episode, of course, here at the Human Narratives. So today's topic is going to be on arrogance versus confidence, right? I'm going to be diving in to kind of talk about a little bit what are the differences, because sometimes confidence showing up in the world can be perceived as arrogance, and sometimes arrogance showing up in the world can be perceived as confidence. So what are the differences? Let's dive. So the differences between arrogance and confidence lies in the intent, the self-perception, and how one relates to others, right? So let's break it down a little bit. Confidence more so is rooted in self awareness, whereas arrogance is rooted in insecurity or overcompensation. For example, let's talk about confidence being rooted in self awareness or self assurance, right? So when someone is confident, they're this realistic or grounded sense of one abilities, right? And they're open to feedbacks. They're willing to learn, and as a result, they're willing to grow as well, open to growing, right? So it often inspires and uplift people in that space. That's what confidence looks like. It inspires and it uplifts people in that space, right? Whereas arrogance is more so about inflated or exaggerated sense of one's importance or even abilities. And often in this type of spaces where people would put other people down intentionally or not to appear superior, right? So those are the quick differences between arrogance and confidence. So why is confidence often seen as a threat? That is a great question, because there are times when a confident individual walk in the room, and a lot of time you will sense insecurity in those spaces because of how that individual, that person sees themselves, right? So confidence is often seen as a threat, not because of what it is, but because of how others perceive it, especially through their own insecurities, their own power dynamics, or even past experiences. So, why is confidence seen as threats? Let's dive into it. It challenges insecurities. When someone is confident, it makes other who are unsecure of themselves or insecure about themselves feel exposed or inadequate. And instead of seeing confidence as an admirable thing, they may feel threatened or judged, even when it's unintentional. It also disrupts toxic systems. In environments, for example, where there's power imbalances, confident individuals can disrupt unspoken norms, especially if that confidence comes from someone unexpected, right? Who they think they are, right? So it can often seem like a power imbalance if it's in a power imbalance environment, right? And that's why it tends to disrupt toxic systems. It's mistaken at times for arrogance as well. It can, because the line is very thin. So people sometimes confuse the two, especially if they're used to modesty being the norm, right? If modesty is the norm, confident behavior can be misread as showing off or as being full of oneself. It also forces self reflection. A confident person may serve as a mirror for others' lack of action or self belief within themselves. So, this discomfort can turn into resentment. This discomfort can turn into defensiveness rather than admiring, or rather than it being admiration, right? So it doesn't only threaten, or it's not only perceived as a threat in these different ways, but it can also shift control. For example, in group settings, confident people often take initiatives, right? They may take initiatives and they may lead, which can feel like a threat to those who are used to being in control or who prefer the status quo. The reality is confidence, when it's genuine and not performative, it's inherently threatening. And it is often revealed in underlying dynamics in people or systems that are fragile, right? When someone feels secure in themselves, they rarely see others' confidence as a threat. Matter of fact, when someone feels secure within themselves, they celebrate others' people authenticity. They celebrate others' people confidence in who they are, their individualism. They celebrate that space. It is not perceived as a threat. That's how you know you're around someone who is confident as well, right? But how to maintain confidence despite others' insecurities? Because that's important. We all have certain type of insecurities. And but how do we ensure that you can work on your insecurities but don't dump it on somebody else, right? So how to maintain confidence despite others' insecurities? Maintaining confidence in the face of others' insecurities is very important. Very important, because you have to be able to protect your energy. You have to protect your energy and stay grounded and not internalize their discomfort that they bring to the table. And here's how to do it: know the differences between reflection and projection. Others' insecurities often lead them to dismiss others people's ideas, minimize others people's achievements, or even criticize other people's ways of how they may do things. That's a projection of their fear and doubt, not a reflection of your self worth. Understanding the two differences: a projection of their fear and self doubt, and not a reflection of your self worth. You also have to stay rooted in self awareness. That's important. To thine own self be true, and but you have to know yourself to be true to it, right? Stay rooted in self awareness. Confidence is strongest when it's based on self knowledge, not external validation. Because guess what? Those external validations are a little choppy. It may be here one day, it may not be there the next day, it may be present tomorrow, it may not be present tomorrow, and your emotions are all over the place, or your self-worth is all over the place because it's being defined by external validation. So it has to be rooted in self-awareness, asking ourselves these type of questions: what are my actual strengths? What are my actual strengths? What do I have to work on, or what have I worked on hard that I deserve, right? Or what value guides my actions? When we know the why, others' reactions have less power. When you know the why, others' reactions have less power. Don't dim your light to make other people comfortable. Ooh, wee! I could say that again 20 times. Times more. Don't dim your light to make other people comfortable. It is so unfair to you. As a person, you can be kind without shrinking yourself. That's important. Instead of hiding your talent to avoid making other people feel insecure, speak with humility, not apology. Offer support, not superiority. Show up fully, even if it makes other people uncomfortable, because that's your space to own too. Your playing small does not serve this world. Do you hear that? That's what Mariam Williamson said. Playing small does not serve this world, because you are placed on this earth to show your true authentic self so you can live that purposeful life in your true authentic self, not in the mask that has been created by situations and experiences, or systems around you, environments. Don't play small, and don't allow others to dim your lights to make them comfortable. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Holding firm boundaries, another very important thing. Holding firm boundaries. If someone frequently tries to undermine or guilt you because of their own insecurity, it's not your job to fix them. You can stay compassionate without being drawn into drama. Confidence means saying that I am here, I hear you, but I'm not going to doubt myself just to make you feel better about who you are. You don't shrink to build, right? Surround yourself with people who celebrate you. That is so important. Seeking out those who are there to cheer your wins, to celebrate your wins, to give honest and respectful feedback, to help you grow and not shrink. Being confident in a room full of insecure people is brave. It is brave. Being confident in a room that support you and empower you. That's important. Confidence is not loudness. It is inner stillness. Inner stillness. If someone's insecurity shakes them, that doesn't mean you have to shake with them. Did you hear that? If someone's insecurities shakes them, it doesn't mean that you have to allow that to shake you as well. Live in your confidence and walk in it and own it, value it, respect it, protect it, learn in it, grow in it, become the purpose that you are intended to be in that confidence. So, why is confidence? Why does it matter? Why does it matter to have confidence instead of being arrogant? Confidence matters more than arrogance because it builds trust, whereas arrogance breaks it. Confidence makes people feel safe, it makes people feel supported and willing to follow collaboration, whereas arrogance makes people feel small, belittles, and dismisses, and it's often perceived as defensive, more so instead of learning or an opportunity to learn, right? Confidence is growth oriented. Ooh, you're growing, you're building. That's what it's about. While arrogance is stagnant, confidence allows you to admit mistakes and improve, growth, learn. Whereas arrogance is more so focuses on feedback and prevents to know or assume to know everything. There's a huge difference between the two. Confidence attracts, while arrogance repels. People gravitate toward confident individual, of course, authentic, right? Because they feel inspired, they feel respected, and they feel seen. Whereas arrogance tends to trigger resistance, resentment, and of course, avoidance. So, even if, for example, have you ever noticed, for example, how some leaders command a room with just a quiet string? Just a quiet string. You just walk in and you command the room. That's confidence. That's confidence. Arrogance may get attention, but not lasting loyalty because people get tired of that space too, right? So confidence reflects inner security, while arrogance masks insecurity. So a confident person may say, I'm comfortable with myself, and I don't need to prove anything, or I don't need to show up as anything to fit into the definition of how I want these individuals or this space to perceive me in this space. Whereas, arrogance, it's more about overcompensating, overcompensating for self-doubt or fear of being inadequate, right? So confidence tends to reflect security, while arrogance masks insecurity. Confidence is more stable, arrogance is more loud and fragile. Those are the differences. It's huge. Even though, yes, there's a thin line, but there's a lot of differences in between the two. Confidence respect others. Arrogance dominate. Confidence makes space for other voices and perspective to be heard, to be respected, to be valued. Whereas arrogance is it's the need to be the loudest or the smartest in the room. Remember, confidence, stillness. Arrogance, right? There's a huge difference. Confidence builds teamwork and collaboration. Arrogance fosters competition and division. It's a huge difference. I believe there's a huge difference because I perceive myself to be a very confident woman, right? And sometimes I know as a confident woman, that can often be perceived by many who have insecurities as arrogant. And I have learned how to allow people to own their perspective, rightfully so, because guess what, baby? I am going to walk this walk the way God has deemed it for me to walk, right? Confidently, with no apology, because I don't have to. So that's the difference, is being able to know who you are and standing in it. That's important. So confidence builds. Arrogance is all about competition. Baby, ain't no I am my own competitor. Okay? So confidence matters because it's sustainable, it's empowering, it's grounded in truth and self-respect. I love this woman. I love this woman, her mistakes, her errors, everything about it. Because that's what about confidence is all about. Is being able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love every bit of you. And I'm not ashamed to show every bit of you. And it doesn't matter how the definition of the world perceive every bit of you. That's confidence. And it's not arrogance, because it's being able to celebrate you, but acknowledging that in others as well who walk in that same space. Yes, it's power. Arrogance make noise, but confidence leads and lift. It doesn't shrink. So, how do you become confident without guilt, without shame, and without being, self-sabotaging yourself? Because sometimes we do that to make other people feel big. We make ourselves small in places, and that's not okay. Becoming confident without guilt, shame, and sabotaging that space is important for you to understand that your self worth is important for you to understand that your self worth is significant. We don't have to go around apologizing. So, how do you become confident without guilt, without shame and self sabotaging? Stop apologizing for existing. Stop apologizing for existing. That's not something you have to apologize for, to prove or hide. If you were taught to shrink or over explain or feel bad for standing out, it's time to unlearn those behaviors, baby. It is time. Now, here are the human narratives. It is time to unlearn that behavior, baby, because you need to stand in your confidence in who you were created to be and embrace and love that space. Being confident isn't rude, it's respect for yourself. It's saying that I trust myself to show up in these spaces, whether I make a mistake or not. I got you. That's confidence. It separates self worth from approval. You don't need everyone to like, validate, or praise you to feel worthy. That's oh, that's not necessary. Let go of needing permission to take up spaces that you already own. That you already own. Give yourself what you're waiting for. A lot of times we're looking for validation, external validations. We're looking for things in places, and we tend to lose confidence because it's often measured by those external things. And we see ourselves based on those external things. And it must stop. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Believe in yourself. Even if you have to repeat it to yourself every day until it becomes a reality. Believe in yourself and stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Tell you that you're good enough. You know you bad. Look in the mirror. Matter of fact, you ain't even gotta look in the mirror. You already know you bad. Open the door for yourself. Don't wait for someone to open the door for you. You got this. Instead of, looking for a proof, be your proof. Be your own proof. And stop waiting. That's where true confidence lies. That's where true confidence lives. Not in perfection, but in self-trust. Being able to trust who you are and what you're giving yourself, and also owning your spaces that you show up in. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. Practice small acts of boldness. That's how you become confident. Confidence grows like muscles, right? The more you do it, the stronger it becomes. Ow! It grows like muscles. So start with saying what you think without softening it for it to be liked by others. Start wearing what makes you feel powerful, not what's safe for others. Asking for what you want without over explaining. Small risk become bigger breakthroughs over time, right? So start with you. Practice small boldness. Start with you. Embrace. Ooh, I love this one. Embrace compassion. You gotta love yourself, baby. If you don't love yourself, can't nobody love you. Because if you don't love yourself and you think somebody love you, baby, what if that somebody love ain't no more there? You gotta be able to look in and put some love for yourself somewhere, right? So embrace all compassion, not perfection. Confidence doesn't mean never feeling doubts. We're humans. We're going to experience those things. It means for you to be able to move anyway. because you know you deserve to move in that space, in that way. Your worth, self worth, right? Guilt and shame kind of fade away. All of that fade away. Talk to yourself like you would a best friend. Love on yourself like you would a lover. See yourself like you would someone special. Celebrate your effort, not just results. Show up for yourself, not waiting for someone to show up for you, right? All of those things. You're not too much. Understanding that you're not too much. Understanding that this is not selfish. Understanding that this is not arrogant, but you're growing into the version of yourself that is no longer needing to apologize to show up in your authentic self. That's beautiful. It's a reflection of inner self. That's what confidence is. It radiates from within, not from external validation, status, or image. That's not confidence. Not from external validation. It's within. It is so beautiful. What are signs that your confidence is coming from within? You don't need to prove yourself constantly. You can say, I don't know without shame because you don't. We don't. We don't always have the answer, right? Because I don't know. I don't know. And that's okay. You can speak up, not to impress, but to contribute. That's the difference. You celebrate others without dimming your own light. That's confidence. You trust yourself even when outcomes are uncertain. Those are beautiful things. I mean, those are all beautiful things to be able to say, I deserve to feel these things. I deserve to give myself these type of spaces as well. Confidence is not walking into the room thinking you're better than everybody. It's walking into the room and you don't even need to compare yourself to nobody because, baby, you got it like that. That's what confidence is. There's no need to compare because why do I need to compare, baby? You beautiful, I'm beautiful, we got you. That's that. Celebrating that space because you know your worth. So ask yourself these questions, these grounding questions. Am I rooted in self respect or am I rooted in ego? When you're trying to determine, am I being arrogant or am I being confident? Am I rooted in self respect or am I rooted in ego? Am I open to feedback or am I dismissing and not willing to learn and grow? Because we all are. We all can grow and learn, right? We're never too old. Ooh, got some lipstick in my teeth. We're never too old to learn and grow, right? Am I open to feedback or am I dismissing it and not creating that opportunity to grow? Am I lifting myself up or putting others down to do it? Am I putting other people down so that I can feel superior? I can feel big. I can show up this way. Because that's not confidence. That's not confidence. Am I speaking from alignment or from insecurities? You know, one of my favorite poets, Maya Angelou, wrote the poem Phenomenal Woman. I love that poem because this poem, it's a masterclass in confidence without arrogance, right? And why does this poem matter so much and fit into what I'm saying? It's about self-assurance that doesn't seek permission. It doesn't seek permission to show up as you are. She doesn't need to prove her power. She simply just own it. The confidence in this poem is grounded in joyfulness and magnetic, not condescending ways. That's the difference. I believe it was Maya Angelou who once said, modesty is a learned affectation You don't want modesty, you want humility. That's that. You don't want modesty, you want humility. So, confidence as a self knowledge and humility as a grace, while arrogance is more ego driven behavior. Those are the differences between the two. So, as a confident woman, I know who I am. And I am not apologetic of how I show up because that's important to who I am and my self worth. So, who do you choose to show up as in this world? Remember, do not allow anyone or anything to dim your light in order for them to glow. This is your girl. Always a pleasure. I hope that this conversation not only uplifts you, but also encourages internal self reflection of how you see yourself. Because how you see yourself and how you show up in the world matters. It matters because that's how others are going to see you and how they're going to treat you and show up as well. Do you value you? All of those things matters. So show up as your authentic, confident self and embrace that space. You will discover so many beautiful things about yourself that you've never known. This is your girl and this is your host. Always a pleasure to be here at the Human Narrative. Until we see you again. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. Go into this week living your life confidently as you should because you deserve it, baby. Much love and blessing always.